Hi, it's me, Anne LePan. I wanted to talk about the phases of the moon. We start with the new moon, and the new moon happens when the moon comes between the sun and the earth. What happens then to us psychologically is that we begin to think about projects that we would like to do. A lot of times we don't notice what we are thinking about. We don't bring it to light. We don't dwell on it. But how many times have we heard somebody say, what I'd really like to do is, or I'm thinking about doing this, or whatever. And probably that is at the beginning phase of the moon, where the new moon occurs. This is when we get our ideas, plant our seeds, so to speak, figuratively and literally. Even if you're in a daily situation where there's a lot of routine involved, you still want to progress in your mind. You still want to think about things that you would like to do. This is what living is all about. So when the new moon occurs, those kind of thoughts creep into our minds, and we start to try and figure out ways to get them to happen. I mean, it could be something as simple as, oh, I'd like to find a new recipe for something that I'd like to cook. So what happens is we then, as the moon travels into the second phase, which is when it is, so if the sun is here and the earth is here and the moon has traveled here, now the moon is starting to go around the earth. And that's when we have our first quarter moon. We have actually begun to implement our desires and think about ways to get them to happen, and we're actually working toward these things. Now, a lot of times people give up and they don't follow through, and that's the way we are. It's human nature. But what we do, if we really are motivated to get this thing rolling, then we work on it throughout the next phase. This is the thing, that 28 days is pretty much 4 weeks. So say the new moon happens the first week. The second week we work on it. And then the third week, the full moon comes around. The moon has gone all the way around the earth, and now it's on the other side. So this is why when the sun is shining on it, we can see the entire face of the moon. How it goes at that point is we say to ourselves, have we done everything that we could do to get our goal met? And then we start scrambling. People start thinking, oh, I really wanted to get that done, and I haven't quite completed it yet. What do? We notice that emotions run really pretty high at the time of a full moon. Then, right after the full moon, a lot of times we're still working on it just to get it done so that we can begin to let that go and either build upon it for our next month, or to just finish it up and be satisfied with what we've done. So that's what happens in the third week. And then in the last week before the new moon comes around again, that's when we clean up and ready ourselves for the next project. So say, for example, you wanted to paint a room in your house. And so at the new moon, you have it figured out, you go to the store, you get your colors, you get your paints. The second week, you actually do the painting, and then when you come to the full moon, you are getting it done. And the final week, you're doing the cleanup. But now, not that projects take us a month to do, because they don't necessarily. But the grand scheme of things does. And this is one of the driving forces of our lives. This cycle keeps pushing us forward towards our goals, towards creating experiences that are going to make us feel more alive and more educated and have more fantastic memories to look back on in our lives. Using the phases of the moon in this way is another way to not fight against the current. It's the way to go with the flow. So if you know when the new moon is going to occur, the full moon is going to occur, then you'll be able to better control the direction of your life. Okay, until next time, enjoy the day.